Hey, everybody.
Hey.
All right, tell us about Dune 2.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry, Dune Part 2. Excuse me.
First of Chris, have you seen it?
I've not. I will see it this weekend. You can't spoil it.
I'm not spoiling it. I will not spoil it.
No,
It's unspoilable.
Yeah.
40 years of lore.
It's awesome. It's
Okay.
incredible. Denis Villeneuve. Denis Villeneuve. Neuve?
Noof.
Neuve? Neuve. Denis Villeneuve.
This is like 20 minutes right here.
Denny V. Denny V.
Denny V.
Truly, what he's doing out there, he's the best in the game right now.
All right,
And-
what about Timmy?
He's firing all cylinders.
Okay.
Austin Butler. Awesome.
Austin Butler.
Is he still set?
Austin Butler is in it and doing the Elvis voice. No, he wasn't doing the
Okay,
Elvis voice.
if only.
The other thing that's amazing about Dune is when you watch, like, George Lucas, I mean, the amount that he is cribbing from Dune in the Star Wars universe is absolutely, it's like ridiculous. When you see it, you're like, because you're like, wait, is this? No, this is all first. But what's amazing about this movie is, so Dune as a book exists. It becomes Star Wars. It kind of becomes a ton of what we take for granted as like modern sci-fi in movies, and becomes all of these tropes. And then they make this movie, and somehow, impossibly, even though so much of what has been in the book has been ripped off, he makes it feel really new and cool and different. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing. Anyway, I don't want to spoil it. I guess I can't spoil it because it's a 40-year-old book.
I mean, I think that's why I respect Dune a lot. I respect it as like very foundational to a lot of the material that I love now. But I think with sci-fi, it's really hard for me to get into sci-fi because I was raised with Star Trek. And so I like sci-fi that speaks directly to the human experience that we know.
I've tried to read the first Dune book, and it's really hard to. It's like basically impenetrable. Like, I really did not enjoy. I couldn't get through it all the way, and it's because like there's a lot of amazing ideas in it, but it's like it's very thick and very dense. Mm-hmm. The other thing about the movie too is there are jokes.
Oh,
like I feel like they did a punch-up pass.
Laz, is that where you were for that week you were gone?
Did you do a punch-up on Dune 2?
I punched up Dune 2.
Oh my God. No one would be able to prove that you didn't. So
This is true.
Just start claiming it.
It's also this is like a bunch of my writer friends, like, this is like the fact that, like, if you go to the credits at the end of a movie, it will be hundreds and hundreds of people, but if you were the fifth writer, like if you did a ton of punch up or wrote a bunch of things and you didn't end up getting a writing credit, you're not mentioned.
You're in the thank you.
Yeah, maybe. So like you could write whole chunks of a giant movie and you don't get a credit.
And that's what happened to me on Dune 2.
Damn.
And that's what happened to Sarah.
That's why if you check, you won't see my name, but it's because of what Lovett just
Story
said.
checks out because if you go and see her name's not there, which kind of proves it.
Well, Laz is the one who went in there and said, like, what if there's just a bunch of big worms in this?
Right.
And they're like, oh my God.
That was sort of my
absolutely.
whole thing, was the
Yeah.
worms. I was like,
You know what
worms are
this is-
funny. Everyone loves a good worm.
Yeah.
And we're back. I'm here with Kendra, Hallie,
Woo!
Sarah, Chris, in the dark, like a Babadook. Let's get into it. What a weekday. It's Super Tuesday, which means voters in 16 states and 1 territory are heading to the polls to cast their ballots. Though to me, every Tuesday is Super Tuesday because it's the day I get to come in here and hang out with my team who are my best and only friends. Right, guys?
Boo.
Oh, boy.
Nikki Haley heads into Super Tuesday with the wind at her back, having racked up her first and only primary victory in Washington, D.C. Haley defeated Trump 63 to 33% among roughly 2,000 voters, give or take the staff of the Lincoln Project, and became the first woman ever to win a Republican presidential primary.
We did it.
We are the granddaughters of the witches they couldn't burn.
We really are.
Women.
Nice. Nikki Haley vowed to stay in the race through Super Tuesday. Today is her last stand before Donald Trump locks in the Republican nomination, in the same sense that a couple goes to couples therapy one last time, even though they know it's over. Like, what kind of breakthrough are you going to have, Nikki? What's going to change now? Nikki, they don't love you. And sadder still, what Donald Trump showed them is that they never really knew what love was until they met him. Sure, they could see on paper why it would work with a Jeb or a Rubio or a Haley. They knew what they were supposed to do. They knew who they were supposed to love. And Republican primary voters might have gone their whole lives faking it. And then one day, a guy like Trump comes down the escalator, and even though they never imagined themselves with someone like Trump, even though all of their friends told them that the spark and thrill of that chaos would fade, that Trump wasn't built for a long-term stable relationship, that he was a rebound kind of presidential candidate, a candidate you entertain only because your heart is broken and you want an adventure, but deep down you know it's going to leave you just as lonely and bereft as you were before, you think, was SAFE so great? I tried SAFE. I tried to make it work with McCain or Romney. I tried to do what my parents did. What did SAFE get us? Lonely nights and Sonia Sotomayor. And so you push down the part of you that knows he doesn't really feel as connected to you as you do to him, that when he smiles at you, it's like he's not really there. And you don't just ignore or deny the criticism of Trump. You start to hate the critics for trying to stand between you and happiness by acting as if you are too stupid or enamored to see what they see in Trump when you see exactly what they see. Because on some level, you know that you resent anyone who tells the truth about Trump, because even though you can scarcely admit it, absent the noise and distraction and rush in the quiet, you might wonder why you cared so little for your life, for your conception of your values, for your country, to embrace a person like Trump in the first place, because you don't hate Nikki Haley. Not really. You fucking hate yourself. Anyway, polls in California close at 8 p.m. local time.
I simply know that writing that joke is why we started late. I simply know it.
Yeah, Hallie and I both opened the document today and saw
said,
wall checks.
whoa, one of those days.
Almost went home.
Coming in hot. Woo!
Nobody does that but us. That's just our thing.
Nobody does.
Maybe for a reason, but
You don't think that.
no, I think it's great.
Over in California, polls showed Adam Schiff leading in the race to replace the late Senator Dianne Feinstein. California uses a jungle primary system in which the top two vote gators move on to the general, so the question is most likely whether it will be Schiff facing off against Republican baseball man Steve Garvey or Democratic Congressperson Katie Porter. This could hopefully turn out Democrats to help swing some crucial House races. If Schiff and Porter can both move on to the general, that might lead to Democrats turning out, which in turn might help us win some of these swing House districts. It also might finally lead to Katie Porter hitting Adam Schiff in the head with a whiteboard while shouting, "Now do you want a ceasefire, you fastidious vegan?" Meanwhile, as we look past Super Tuesday toward the general, a fresh batch of bad polls for President Biden is rolling in. The latest New York Times Siena poll found Biden lagging 5 points behind Donald Trump, 43 to 48%. I haven't been this rattled by a low number since I looked up how old Renee Rapp is. 24.
She looks so much older.
Yeah, they all do.
Really? You think? This poll has a 3.5 percentage point margin of, oh shit, I'm going to puke.
It's like a cat.
I can't watch that.
I'm really good at fake puking.
It's really upsetting.
You call that a disturbing Biden poll? Check this out, said Marjorie Taylor Greene, holding up a picture of Hunter's dick at a Starbucks drive-thru. The poll found that Biden's favorability has dropped to just 38%, making him more unpopular than Trump, who remains deeply unpopular. Who are these guys? Me in middle school and me in high school? To put that number in perspective, 38% is the Rotten Tomatoes score of Meet the Fockers. 47% of voters now strongly disapprove of Biden's performance, a higher share than at any previous time Siena poll. Always darkest before the dawn. That's what I told myself 100 minutes into Madame Web, and that's what I'm telling myself now. To win back the voters he's lost, polling suggests Biden needs to stop the bombing in Gaza, become younger, lower prices, secure the border, and increase the bombing in Gaza. Speaking of, in a speech in Selma on Sunday, Vice President Kamala Harris called for an immediate ceasefire.
And given the immense scale of suffering in Gaza, there must be an immediate ceasefire. For at least the next 6 weeks, which is what is currently on the table. This will get the hostages out and get a significant amount of aid in.
I'm glad they're pushing for this. I could have done without Madam Vice President showing us another Funko Pop haul right after, but altogether a powerful moment, and it was fun seeing all the characters from Goodfellas lined up like that. Meanwhile, over the weekend, Trump seemed to forget he was president during a rally in Virginia.
And Putin, has so little respect for Obama that he's starting to throw around the nuclear word today. You heard that, nuclear. He's starting to talk nuclear weapons today.
This election asks one simple question. Do you want a president who has loving grandpa senior moments or a president who has estranged great uncle who's been uninvited from Thanksgiving senior moments? At the same event, Trump claimed he'd mixed up Nikki Haley and Nancy Pelosi on purpose.
I purposely mix up like a name like Bird Brain. You know who Bird Brain is, right, Nikki? With Nancy Pelosi. I put them in because they're interchangeable in my mind.
Trump went on, it's like when doctors asked me to draw a clock and I put all the numbers on one side because that's a cool artistic clock. Trump also vowed to defund public schools that require vaccines.
And I will not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or mask mandate.
Forget the 3 R's. We're moving on to the 3 P's: prayer, polio, and possums. Why are there possums? Because they're attracted to the smell of urine, obviously. Why is there urine? Because all the non-binary kids have to pee on the side of the school. At a rally in Greensboro earlier in the day, Trump endorsed North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson.
This is Martin Luther King on steroids, okay? Now, I told that to Mark. I said, I think you're better than Martin Luther King. I think you are Martin Luther King times 2. And he looked at me, and I wasn't sure, was he angry because that's a terrible thing to say, or was he complimented? I have never figured it out.
And who can forget Martin Luther King on steroids' speech, I have a cream for my back knee problem. I have a cream for my back knee problem. Which I recommend reading alongside Letters from a Birmingham CrossFit.
Kendra, if you love this, you're going to love what's you're about to see.
Oh, no.
Anyway, I asked ChatGPT for a buff Martin Luther King Jr., and we got this. It's weird how his muscles come through the jacket.
He's just too buff for
He's so buff.
any pants to possibly
He's so
fit.
buff. What a buff dude.
Kendra?
What a buff dude. Kendra.
Thoughts?
Kendra, what are
Hey,
your thoughts?
I don't think you stop. Just ask a black woman. Is that what this is?
Well, we did surprise her with this. I think it's fair to ask her reaction. She shouldn't have to stifle her visceral reaction to this.
Almost as racist as Jungle Primary, like kind of feels.
It certainly feels disrespectful. I will say that. It
Yeah,
does seem
for
to
sure.
disrespect a
For
great
sure.
American hero.
I just think so. Right, Mark.
no pants. That's the problem.
For those listening,
Oh, that's
obviously,
the problem. Yeah.
Yeah,
think
that
it's
is
the-
the whole problem.
You're right. There's a lot of problems with it.
for the record, ChatGPT is not allowed to spit out images that look like any specific person. So it actually is a person evoking the spirit of buff Martin Luther King
Yes,
Jr.
that's-
Honestly, it looks more like Michael Jordan, at least from my angle.
He also is on the National Mall, which I do think
Yes.
really makes it.
Anyway, Mark Robinson is expected to win his Mark Robinson, who is black, for those listening, if that wasn't clear from the context.
Oh, no, I got that.
He was expected to win his primary to face Democratic Attorney General Josh Stein in the race for governor to fill the job currently held by Democrat and friend of the show, Roy Cooper. The stakes are impossibly high. Republicans control both houses of the legislature, and Robinson, despite Trump's musings, is an anti-Semitic, anti-trans Facebook meme posting maniac. At a campaign event last month, Robinson also vowed to ban abortion in the state. He said, "We got it down to 12 weeks. The next goal is to get it down to 6 and then just keep going from there." Continued Robinson, "Eventually, we'd like to get it down to -2 weeks, where it'll be illegal for any woman to not be pregnant. That's the dream. Shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, you'll land among the weeping women outside a crisis pregnancy center that used to be a Planned Parenthood."
There's a picture that came out this weekend of Robinson, Tim Scott, and then 2 other, like, I guess, high-level GOP black guys. Googled all their wives. They look exactly like what Cat Williams said that all those other people's wives look like. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Just a crowd of Mindy Noses.
Just a crowd of funny looking silent
A crowd of Mindy Noses is called a dry bar.
I heard.
A dry bar of Mindy Noses. Speaking of the hell our Supreme Court has wrought, on Monday, our 9 legal eagles ruled that states cannot invoke the 14th Amendment's insurrection clause to remove Trump from the ballot. Instead, each state will be allowed to sternly wag their finger at Trump and go, tss, tss. How do you do that? Tisk, tisk?
Yeah, cluck your tongue.
Oh,
And then immediately get slapped when your palm is like, don't suck your teeth at me.
oh, I've never heard that term before.
Yeah.
We never had that growing up. I never got,
No, the Jewish community will just tell you exactly
right,
what you've done.
That's right. It's
They'll
not,
spell it out in words.
That's right. That's why we didn't have it. Wrote the court, nothing in the Constitution requires that we endure such chaos. Thank goodness. I hate chaos. Anyway, bring on the next Trump presidency. While all 9 justices agreed that a state cannot unilaterally disqualify a candidate from the presidential ballot, 5 conservative justices went much further, saying that Congress needed to prescribe certain processes to ascertain whether a candidate is disqualified under the 14th Amendment. For example, Congress could throw the candidate into a body of water to see whether the candidate floats. The problem is that this process does not exist as of today and runs counter to the plain language of the amendment, which is said to be self-executing. And I get it. Even just talking about this presidential election makes me want to self-execute. This is why Justices Elena Kagan, Sonia Sotomayor, Ketanji Brown Jackson, and friend of the show, Amy Coney Barrett, refused to join the majority on that point. In a separate opinion, the liberal justices accused the conservative justices of a level of overreach that attempts to insulate all alleged insurrectionists from future challenges to their holding federal office. Replied the conservative majority, hey now, give us some credit. We didn't attempt to do that. We succeeded. Justice Barrett wrote separately, agreeing with the three liberal justices that the ruling goes too far, but taking issue with their tone, saying the court should turn the national temperature down, not up. She declined to criticize her fellow conservatives directly and said, for present purposes, our differences are far less important than our unanimity. All 9 justices agree on the outcome of this case. That is the message Americans should take home. This is the most Catholic mom shit imaginable. We might be on the 3rd hour of our drag-out family fight. We might be seconds away from never speaking again. But when the waitress comes over, you'll put on a smile so bright everyone in this Olive Garden will know nothing is, ever has been, or ever will be wrong with this family. Do I make myself clear?
It's like I'm back. It's like I'm
there
there.
at the Catholic one.
It's like I'm in the Olive Garden.
That comes from your Catholic upbringing.
We're all bringing so much to this. I would just say, as a Catholic, really great that 6 of the 9 Supreme Court justices are Catholic. Great idea, everybody. No notes. Things are going great.
Because you're worried they're being controlled by the Pope, that they're being papally influenced. That was the concern, right? That they're they're the Pope's puppets, well, like Kennedy.
Puppets.
They're puppets.
Listen, and it is. Well, now we have the woke Pope, and now it's like who knows what to believe.
Who knows what? Now we get the woke Pope. Before we go today, at Trump's rally over the weekend, this woman sang the national anthem and absolutely crushed. Awesome. 10 out of 10. No notes.
Yeah.
What is worse? Is worse forgetting the lyrics or fully fucking the note at the end? Like, maybe that was just a strategy to bail before getting to the note that she knew she couldn't hit.
Interesting.
I think the lyrics, you got to get the lyrics on the anthem. And then I think everyone knows it's hard.
It's an impossible
Yes.
song to sing.
It's a bad song.
It's insane.
There was a moment where people were talking about having a different, like, kind of like getting behind a new anthem. And I was all, there was a, this land is my land, this land is your land. And I love that.
Yeah, didn't Canada switch theirs up? Make it easier to sing?
Do they?
I think so.
Maybe. I mean, God Bless America is a great song.
Yeah.
It's got God in there.
It's
That's true.
very religious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this one's just about bombs. That's not great either.
We did right with Lift Every Voice and Sing. It's great.
Lift every voice and sing would be nice.
Yeah.
Fight song, a banger.
Yeah. Could probably. If Taylor decided to sort of do her version, has she ever sang a national anthem?
I don't think she has the range.
I was going to say that it doesn't seem in her wheelhouse.
I'm really sorry. That's not even like a I dislike Taylor Swift thing. I just genuinely don't think she has the vocal range to
doesn't
sing
have
the
the range.
national
She could
It's
do
a
it.
hard song.
She could do it.
Name one song where she has vocal range on
Yeah,
it.
please.
I don't know range.
I mean,
I
Well,
don't
there,
know.
you, well, there you
can
have it.
hear.
There you have it.
Why are they all like kind of in the?
Yeah.
Well, people like maybe it's so that everyone can sing with her. You know.
Should everyone be singing? I know I shouldn't be singing.
I think she could do it.
All right. Well,
Taylor, we invite you to sing the national anthem.
On this very program.
Yeah, come on in.
in this studio.
In this, that would be it.
You
That
can
would
sit
be
at the
something.
table or on the couch, wherever you
Whichever
want.
one you feel more comfortable with.
Yeah. Well, how do we feel about this new layout?
I'm loving it.
I think it's fun.
I mean,
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'll
I
wear
like
a
it.
sitting dress next time, but you know,
That's what kind of dress is that?
this is a flouncing around dress.
Oh,
What about
I
you?
love a good flounce.
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Milo, what do you think?
If you guys like it, I like it.
Hell yeah, Milo.
Editorial
Sounds like he
director
doesn't like
Milo.
it, but
Milo's so even keeled, you know.
Hard cut end.
And that's our show. Thank you to Kendra. Thank you to Hallie. Thank you to Sarah. Thank you to everybody here in the studio. See you sluts on Saturday. Do it.
What are we doing?
This.
We know you may be feeling a little stressed about politics right now, so we wanted to offer a practical, hopeful guide to make sure that you're ready for the 2024 election and the 2025 insurrection. That's why we wrote a book called Democracy or Else: How to Save America in 10 Easy Steps.
It's a helpful illustrated guide with 100% perfect jokes, but maybe reading isn't your thing. Maybe the lore of a reasonable page count loaded with illustrations isn't enough to move the needle. That's fine. That's right, we hunkered down for what was, let's be honest, a tedious 8 hours we'll never get back, to bring you Democracy or Else as an audiobook.
Finally, your chance to listen to the three of us talk about politics. What a rare opportunity. Perfect for the avid listener who loves the pod, but just wishes it was much, much longer.
And people who don't read, like me.
Right. Yeah. Illiterate people.
I like to listen to things.
Functionally illiterate people.
We're really selling it. So, boy, am I going to
Click. Hey, don't break your phones clicking purchase. It's actually great. Every Republican that gets some ghostwriter throw a couple words on a page is on the bestseller list. Why can't it be us? Why not us?
Yeah. Why is it always Bill O'Reilly killing
Yeah.
some historical figure?
I know you're all excited to pre-order now. You can go to crooked.com/books. Pre-order your copy today.